All right, so I had big plans this summer to create just a boatload of content. Obviously, that hasn't happened, and I'm sorry for that. But I do have a good reason. You see, I've been working on. And honestly, I didn't even bring a camera with me on this whole adventure, let alone a computer capable of actually editing video, which got me thinking about what if I did a little tips and tricks video on how to create content when you don't have a camera, when you don't have a computer, when you don't have a microphone, when you don't have a stabilizer, when you don't have anything except for your phone. And that's what this is. So, yeah. You know what? Let's go for a walk. Well, let's talk outside. Yeah. All right. Ooh. Backlight. Hang on. I don't know if the backlight was worse or the interstate is worse, but at least this way you get to see the mountains behind me, right? Anyway, so thinking about this in terms of how do we actually make this work, my three big tips, I only have three. Number one, if you are producing content with nothing but your phone, you still have to treat it like a camera, right? In most cases, what that's going to come down to is finding ways to stabilize the shot, get some lockdown things. You can't just handhold everything. That's super obnoxious. That's not saying you can't handhold anything, it's just you can't handhold everything. So in the case of this video, I used a Dr. Pepper box, I used a table, I used a shelf, I used a window, I used a deadbolt, I used an ironing board. Now I'm using a pylon for a street light. Like, there are ways to get your phone set in places to give you that sort of locked down shot. The secondary tip that I would give you would be that you still have to approach creating content from some kind of narrative standpoint. Now, as tutorials go, the narrative here is pretty lackluster, right? Like, I mean, it's just me telling you what I think you should be doing. But if you go back and watch that B-roll sequence, there's a fairly clear narrative arc. We're starting in the hotel room, we're coming out here so that we can have this conversation. And I had to go through and I had to find ways to get all of those shots. I didn't just start shooting and hope for the best. Tip one is treat it like a camera. Tip two is have some kind of story plan. And then tip three is once you've got it all shot, you do have to edit it. And again, thinking about one of our qualifications here being that we don't have a computer with us, the big question becomes, how do we do that? There are a number of video editing options available for both iPhones and Androids and all of that, but my personal favorite choice is going to be CapCut. You don't have to use CapCut. I'm going to show you how to do some basic stuff in CapCut here in just a second, but honestly, you can use whatever you want so long as you have a plan. That being said, let me do the CapCut thing and then we'll close out. Once you've got CapCut downloaded and installed and all of the things, you've created an account, don't worry, it's free. You should see something that looks like this when you open it. If you don't see this, if you see like the templates or the AI lab or any of those things, don't worry about it. All you have to do is click the little edit icon right there. Once you're here, it's time to start getting footage on. So we're gonna hit new video, and I'm gonna go ahead and select this video right here, which is me standing up. And I'm gonna add that to my project. Now, obviously I don't need all of this, so the first thing we're gonna do is figure out how to get rid of that. So I'm gonna scroll to where I want just by touching and dragging the timeline. And we want this to start with me standing up somewhere right about there. We're going to click Edit, Split, and then we're going to delete this by selecting it and then hitting the delete icon. Now, obviously, this clip in the way that I used it stops before we get here, so we'll just drag over to about here-ish. This does create a little bit of a continuity error because my arm is on the wrong side, but that's okay. So we'll split this again. We'll select the one on the right side this time and delete it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this ending. So if I select this and I hit play, you'll see that it plays the CapCut. We don't need that right now, so I'm going to delete that. Now if I want to add more footage to this, all I have to do is hit the little plus icon and then select my next clip. And you can crop it and do stuff to it, but I find it's easier just to do it in the timeline. So again, obviously we don't need all of this. We need this to start right about there. I'm going to split this, select my clip on the left, delete that, and then drag over until I want to be done somewhere in there, split, and delete. Now, realistically, the bulk of this is just doing that over and over and over again. Yes, there are ways to add text. You can select a little text, add text. You enter the text you want, so let's just say hello. And then once we've got that done, you can see now we have hello, right? And I can then move that wherever it needs to be just by dragging it out and doing the thing. You can also add, if we come back here, we can add audio, we can add effects, we can add overlays. There's all kinds of stuff you can add, but generally speaking, it's just adding it onto the timeline and playing with it as you normally would. When you're done, you just hit export right here, and it will export your video for you to play. And you can download it straight to your phone, you can upload it directly to other places, but regardless, this is how you do some very basic stuff in CapCut, and that's really all there is to it. So now you can shoot, you can edit, you can produce, and you're good to go. There you have it. Just to reiterate, treat it like a camera, have a story plan, have a method to edit. Those are my 3 tips for creating basic content with your phone. And that's about all I've got. So I'll get back to making more regular, sort of normal content here very shortly, in just a couple of weeks. But for right now, you know, keep shooting, friends.